Hey, everybody, what's up? Welcome into Best on the Board, presented by BetMGM. Michael Beller and CJ Moore here with you on a Friday. We are taking you into the college hoops weekend. It is all college hoops all day, at least today, on this episode of Best on the Board. CJ, what's going on, man?
Not too much, just hanging out in snowy, ice cold Kansas City.
I am hanging out in snowy, ice cold Chicago. Are you over last weekend?
Absolutely.
CJ's a big Chiefs fan, for those of you who don't know. So you're not quite over it just yet?
Hell no. That was depressing.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Rough second half. Rough second half that we do not need to relive. If you do want to relive that, however, we're going to be talking about all things Super Bowl next week. Next week, we'll not relive that, but, get ready for Bengals and Rams in Super Bowl 56. Next week, we'll be doing all sorts of prop and lines and sides. Every single discussion, we'll be hitting that all week on Best on the Board next week. CJ says thumbs down. I say hopefully it's a fun game. Either way, we're going to be talking about that all next week here on Best on the Board. Today, we are living in the college basketball world. We've got a very fun weekend, specifically a very fun Saturday of college basketball ahead of us. So that's what we're going to talk about here. 5 highlight games on the Saturday slate. Of course, with it being noon in the Central Time Zone on Friday, we don't yet have gambling lines for these, so we're just going with the KenPom lines, and we know it'll be somewhere in the range of what we're talking about. CJ, no beating around the bush. Let's get to the biggest game of Saturday right off the bat, a game that you will be attending in person, covering for The Athletic, Kansas and Baylor. Huge Big 12 clash. KenPom line has Kansas as a 1-point favorite, 151. The total here, we know there are injuries on both sides, most notably Ochai Agbaji, who missed Kansas's last game, an impressive win for the Jayhawks at Iowa State without Agbaji. In a world where all these guys are playing, I mean, is it as simple as saying that this is going to be two of the best offenses in the country really controlling how this game goes?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you wish you knew. If you're betting this game, you'd like to know who's going to play, who's not. Mm-hmm. Kansas has media availability later today, but from the response of Bill Self on Tuesday after that Iowa State game, I get the impression that Ochai Agbaji will probably play Saturday. I asked Bill Self what was day 0 for Ochai, because that matters a lot right now, mm-hmm. right? And he said he started feeling poorly late Saturday night. So I'm guessing he got tested on Sunday, and that would, with the new 5-day protocol, yada, yada, I would think he's probably there. Baylor's guys, I've checked in on them. Their 2 guards are day-to-day. So Adam Flagler and LJ Cryer, I'm guessing Baylor's not going to put anything out until right up to game time to, whether those guys are out there. So that being said, let's look at it with everybody healthy.
Yeah.
How about that?
I like that. I like that best.
I like that best. That's whatever. That's what we want, right?
Yeah.
So let's go that scenario. I think it's hard not to remember what happened a week ago to Kansas with Kentucky in the building. And when you doubt Kansas, you should probably pause and think about, am I really doubting Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not very smart usually. But I think Baylor's talent is comparable to Kentucky. And I think some of the areas where Baylor's really strong, front court, big athletes, is what Kansas struggled with against Kentucky. Offensive glass, Baylor's always a terrific offensive rebounding team that gave KU trouble a week ago. Now, do I think Kansas absolutely laid a stink bomb? And, did Kentucky play a little bit above its head? Well, I think Kentucky's really good. But Kentucky played its A game. Kansas played its D game. But I think Kansas is going to have to play like an A-plus game to beat Baylor. David McCormick's very, very important, as he was in that Kentucky game, and he didn't show up in that one. But he was really good the other night against Iowa State. I'm leaning Baylor here.
Mm-hmm.
It's you don't feel super comfortable if you're betting against Kansas out on Fieldhouse, but I think Baylor could give KU some problems, and not knowing even if Ochai is going to be back, like, is he going to be 100%? And the other big thing is James Akinju is starting to look like himself. He was out for a little bit with an injury, and Sohan, Jeremy Sohan, the freshman, also looking better. he might be their most talented guy. So that's important. If they can get one of those guards back, I think Baylor is maybe the team I would lean here.
I look at this game, and especially the things you talk about right off the top. You've got Ochai maybe coming back from COVID, but if he does come back, what's the conditioning going to be like? We haven't, how much basketball activity has he been able to do over the last week? Not really a whole lot. Flagler and Cryer, both day to day. If they come back, what sort of condition and health are they in after coming off of injuries? So, I look at this and I see 151. Obviously, these two teams a month from now, full strength, 151 feels totally okay, but I kind of lean under as my favorite play in this game. If we're talking about three key players at less than 100%, maybe at less than 100% conditioning in this one, maybe we see two great offenses not quite get to that great level that we're used to seeing from them when they are at full strength. That feels like my favorite play in this game, and then you don't have to worry about exactly who's healthy, who's not, how healthy are they not. How does this team match up? I mean, you make good points about Kansas and what Baylor can do, similar to what Kentucky did, but maybe it's just the under to go with here, because obviously, depending, and if those guys on Baylor don't play, then things will look a little bit different too.
Yeah, because that Baylor's shooting so much better. Those are their best two shooters.
Yep.
So if you take those guys out of the mix, even if they're coming back, like you said, don't have their legs. KU's defense did look better the other day against Iowa State. It is one of Bill Self's worst defensive teams, but I think he might be able to flip that, here the second half of the season. So, and Baylor can really guard, and it's going to be turned up. So, that's probably a decent play.
Couple of leans for us here, Baylor and the under, and of course we'll see what these lines actually land at a little bit later today. Let's go over to the Pac-12 here, CJ, where we've got a game between Arizona and USC on Saturday. Now the KenPom line has Arizona as huge favorites in this one, -12 with a total of 146. This is one of our handful of ranked matchups on the board this weekend. How does USC keep this game close?
Well, let's talk about USC first. Start looking in through the looking closely at this team, and it's weird to say this on February 4th. Again, and USC's ranked correct right now. I ignore the rankings because they're stupid, but
they are ranked. They're top 20 team.
Are they good though? Are they actually a good team? Their one good win, their best win is San Diego State.
Yeah,
that's their best win. 12 points is a lot, and I'd be hesitant to bet Arizona at 12. But I don't know if I can trust USC, because I don't think they've shown I don't know. They haven't really played any great teams. Obviously haven't beaten any great teams.
Yep.
Their defense has forced teams to play slow. You're probably not slowing down Arizona. So you look at this number 146. If I'm going to bet something, maybe I'm betting the over there.
Yeah, it's a huge number, but I think, the point you make about, this is a team in USC that got swept by Stanford already this season.
Stanford!
The San Diego State win, whatever, it's a feather in the cap, I suppose. Yeah. But you're talking about a neutral floor game around Thanksgiving. They scored 58 points in that game. If USC can hang its hat on one thing this season, it's defense, and it's getting teams to play the pace that they want them to play. And are they really going to do that against Arizona? I don't think so. And then on top of that, if you're going to be a team that is going to hang your hat on defense, which I think USC is going to be more doing that than they are on offense, talking about a team that is on KenPom 338th in the country in turnover percentage and forcing turnovers. That is not exactly the formula that you're looking for. And if they keep playing at this sort of pace where they're beating the teams that they quote should beat and losing to the teams they quote should lose to, and they get to a semifinal in the Pac-12 tournament game and squeeze their way up to a 6 or a 7 seed in the tournament, they've just got, sort of first round upset written all over them, I feel like. And so I think I would, we'll see where this line actually lands at. I think if we're talking low double digits, if we're looking at a 10.5 or an 11-point line, I think Arizona is something I could get behind, because, man, that team, on the flip side, you said we want to start off talking about USC. Well, let's talk about Arizona for a second here, because this is a team that we know is very good on both sides of the floor too.
And if you really want to understand why they're so good, you should probably go back and read my film room on them, right?
Yeah, there you go. I think they should. I think you should.
I love Tubelis. That's one of my favorite college. I was actually talking to an NBA scout today, and he was asking me about why. And I didn't have a chance. I caught a little bit of the game last night. I was out after my son's game at a sports bar eating dinner, and he called me and asked if I knew why Benedict Mathurin didn't play down the stretch, which that might be something to monitor. I didn't even today see if he was hurt or something. I don't know, but he was asking about that. So I couldn't tell him. But I think that team is a really good team. And I was saying to him, I was like, the guy I really love is Tubelis. He's like, yeah, not as a pro. I was like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about pro. I got a college player, and they through him. And yeah, he's fun. And Kirk Chris is kind of the dude that makes that team go. Like when he's really good, they're really good. He's had some games where he struggled, but man, they've got depth. They've got big guys up front. They're good defensively, and they can really, really run. So yeah, I'm all in on Arizona. It's just 12 points is a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. Yeah,
USC is bad. But I don't know that I can trust them. Like I said, what have they done? Who have they beat?
Yeah. I mean, I think like all you can do, we talk about this a lot on this show and just in sports in general. All you can you do to a certain extent in college sports, but you don't fully control the schedule. All you can really do is line up against the team that you're playing against and beat them. And USC's done that. You got to tip your cap to them to that extent. But I think a lot of teams, had they played the schedule that USC has played to this point, could be sitting at 19-3 also. And so that's something you got to think about. And we'll see what happens against Arizona over the weekend. But yeah, I mean, 12 is a big number. 12 is always a scary number. It's not something like, if you're going to cover 12, you really got to do it in like the first 25 minutes of the game, right? You got to have a comfortable lead at halftime and come out and just snuff out any sort of hope really early in the second half. And that's how you're going to cover 12. And so
do that. They can
definitely do that.
Separate. They can really separate because they get going flying up and down the court. They can do that. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's a lean for sure. We'll see what the line comes out at a little bit later tonight. A couple more games I want to talk about. First, though, a quick message from our friends at BetMGM. Right now, bet $10, win $150 plus a free 3-month subscription to The Athletic. All you got to do, go to betmgm.com, use the code TheAthleticPod. Again, you want to take advantage of this offer from the king of sportsbooks? It's bet 10. It's win $150 plus 3 free months to The Athletic. Go to betmgm.com and use the code TheAthleticPod. New customer offer, terms and conditions apply. All right, CJ, one of Arizona's really impressive wins this season came earlier in the year, a win at Illinois. So let's talk about Illinois. Let's use that to transition over to Illinois. They are coming off a win over Wisconsin. They are playing Indiana this weekend in Bloomington. And so KenPom has Indiana actually as a 1-point favorite. 135 is the total in this game. And if you look for one thing that jumps out in that Arizona-Illinois box score from when these two teams met earlier in the season, it's the fact that the Wildcats held Kofi Cockburn to 5 of 15 from 2-point range. That is something that the Wisconsin Badgers did not do against Illinois earlier this week. TJD on one side, Kofi Cockburn on the other. You assume on paper it's a game that is dominated by interior play, but I mean, I just don't see Indiana having an answer for Cockburn. Maybe not quite as poorly as Wisconsin matched up with him, but this is just a guy who is really, after the suspension early in the season, the injury just a couple of weeks ago, starting to, I feel like, finally get his legs under him really for the first time all season.
He's arguably been the best big man in college basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at his numbers. They're ridiculous. And, I mean, they just played through him a ton. And I think the game to look at for this one, like if you're – all right, how's Indiana match up against Illinois? Let's try to find something that's semi-similar, okay? Well, they just got smoked last weekend at home to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd they get smoked? Because Hunter Dickinson went for 25 and Michigan shot 11 of 17 from 3. Now, it's hard for any team to replicate that, right? The 11, 17 from 3. But who's got a dude that's even better than Hunter Dickinson? Yeah. It's Illinois. And who spreads the floor with shooters better than Michigan can, and it's about better than anybody can in the country? Illini. So, like, if anybody can replicate that performance, it's Illinois, and they don't even have to shoot it that good to win this game. So, I think Illinois is like I'm high on them. I think if you want to buy a team that's like, and where they ranked right now, again, I don't pay attention to the rankings.
They are ranked right now 18th, and that's just, I mean, they're one of the 10 best teams in the country.
Bye.
Yeah.
Illini are way better than 18th in the country. And also, by the way, I love Andre Curbelo. Like that dude is so much fun to watch.
Yep.
He's working himself back.
That was his first game back from the injury against Wisconsin. That was he'd missed like week and a half or so before coming back.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
He's been in and out.
Yeah,
a couple times. So they're about to get even scarier. Like if that dude gets rolling, and I think I know you watched the game because it was Wisconsin. Like he had some moments there where you're like, okay, I see it. That's old Curbelo. That there was a ball screen and a roll to
Coburn. Yeah, it was really nice little pocket pass.
Yeah, so they're about to get even better, and like you said, that's a top 10 team. If I'm getting 1 point, they're only.
It's going to be around there. It's going to be around there, and that was that game was all Coburn. Coburn had 37 in that game for Illinois, and you talk about the way this team can space the floor. They had a ton of good looks for Alfonso Plummer. He just wasn't connecting from three in that game against Wisconsin. Jacob Grandison made like 3 threes in that game, but he had a ton of good looks. Trent Frazier also just wasn't hitting from deep, but he got good looks. They worked Wisconsin. And even a 13-point deficit doesn't really express just how much Illinois dominated that game in the second half. And so I'm with you. Like this feels like the fits and starts that Illinois has had to play with this season because of Kofi's suspension and being in and out of the lineup, because of Curbelo being in and out of the lineup, some hiccups early in the year. Like this is an incredibly good team. And again, it feels like just now they're starting to get their legs underneath them. And so like I will be very interested to see what this line is, because there's almost no line I wouldn't bet Illinois at in this game.
Yeah, that's fair. Now to play devil's advocate, like Assembly Hall.
Sure.
It's a little scary to go there. That place has been rocking when they play well this year. So, but yeah, I'm all about the Illini.
Yeah, definitely that win over Purdue at home for a couple of weeks ago.
Gets your attention. And then Purdue's a team that plays through its bigs and couldn't really do it that day.
Yeah. Purdue's a team that beat Illinois in Illinois a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. No, but those are the two teams I like best in the Big Ten is Purdue and Illinois. But yeah, I just like there's games where maybe like that game Purdue for some reason didn't go through its biggest as much and wasn't able to. Illinois is gonna play. Like, they're absolutely no doubt gonna play through.
Right. Let's hit UConn and Villanova here. I want to get some Big East talk in. There's some non-Marquette Big East talk for us. Connecticut and Villanova. Villanova 8-point favorites in this one, according to KenPom. 128. That's just where these two teams live on the line here, or on the total. Excuse me. UConn on the offensive rebounding. I feel like that's where it's UConn's offensive rebounding versus can Villanova really. 3-point defense. Say what you will for it, but Connecticut does it well. Villanova obviously shoots the three. It feels like where this game goes to me.
Yeah, you just hit on all my points I had. So.
No, at least it's not Marquette, right? Villanova 0-2 against Marquette this year. Otherwise, they pretty much roll over everyone they play.
For sure, but 8 points, man. Pop quiz here. What's UConn's biggest margin of defeat this year?
10.
4.
Wow.
They haven't lost a game by more than 4.
Now I'm looking at it now. Yeah, Creighton and Providence got them both got them by 4.
And Creighton is like their kryptonite. They lost 3 times to Creighton last year. For some reason, they cannot beat Creighton. But I like UConn's team and talent. Like there's another team that I'm buying wherever they're ranked. Are they ranked at all? Do we know?
You know what? I don't know that one off the top. Yeah, they're 17th.
They're 17th. Might be about right, but I'd buy them. I'd buy the Huskies. And like you said, good taking away good threes.
Yeah.
And I think Nova has struggled with good big front lines this year.
Yeah.
And team with a good big front line. So
8 feels heavy. 8 feels heavy. I expect Villanova to bounce back coming off that Marquette loss, playing at home, but 8 feels heavy to me.
Feels like a 5-point Nova win if Nova's going to win.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's get one more game in here quick before we got to say goodbye. Kentucky and Alabama. Kentucky 3-point favorites on the KenPom line, 159. Now, unlike the first game we talked about, Kansas and Baylor, this is one that I feel like can live up to that 150-plus sort of score. And, of course, Kansas and Baylor can, but I explained why I was leaning under in that one earlier. This one, to me, this is offense on both sides. And it's just like, it's Alabama's offense, which has still been pretty damn good this year. Is it ever going to translate into consistent victories? It's crazy to me that they can play this well offensively and still be tripping up where they're tripping up.
Stay the hell away from Alabama. Don't bet any Alabama games. Just save yourselves. I guess unless they're playing somebody really crappy, then bet that crappy team, right?
Yeah.
But I think Alabama is like their guards are really. I was talking to a coach this week who played against some high major coach, and those people can't figure out why their record is the way it is because he's like those guards are good. He's like that. Those guards gave us problems, and I think you have to. You've got to have athletic guards and a big who can move to go against Alabama because they're going to spread you out. They're going to shoot threes. They're going to put you in ball screens. I think Kentucky has that. I think Kentucky will get up for this. And, I just witnessed Kentucky kick ass in a great environment. So it's going to be a great environment, but not quite like Kansas. Sorry, Bama, you're not quite like that.
This isn't football.
Yeah, and Alabama's a bad defensive rebounding team. And Oscar Tshiebwe, like he's a good offensive rebounding team all by himself, right?
Yes.
So Bama, I think, is gonna, even if they can first shot defense is decent, like they're gonna have a problem keeping Kentucky off the board. So this feels like a Kentucky to me. But at the same time, like look at who Bama has beat. They beat Baylor. They've beat
LSU, Tennessee, Zaga, right?
Zaga, that's where I was going. Let's take the LSU out of that. One of those teams is not like the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got some really, really good wins. They're a weird team. But yeah, I think obviously I think Kentucky is a top 2 or 3 team in college basketball. So I'll take Kentucky here.
It's just if Alabama like they could be like that one year that Kentucky, just to use Kentucky as the example, right? When Kentucky was the 8th seed, right? I mean, how was that when the Kentucky Wichita, right, matchup in the second round? Like, couldn't Alabama be that team this year?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, the offense is just ridiculous, like you said.
But they really miss Herb Jones.
Yes,
like,
they do.
He was their defensive anchor. Kansas. Why does Kansas go from a top? I think they were top 5 to 10 defense. They were the best defense like over the last month of the season last year.
Right.
Why do they go from that to like 50th now? Marcus Garrett, same thing with Alabama. Why do they drop to in the 70s from wherever they were last year, which was pretty damn high? It's Herb Jones.
Yep.
So yeah, they really miss him. They've got to figure out a way to start guarding some people and get some freaking rebounds. But man, they're scary in a 1-game setting because they're going to shoot a ton of threes and sometimes they're going to make them.
Hell of a game, hell of a weekend that we have ahead of us in the college hoops world. Hell of an episode of Best on the Board that we're putting behind us right now. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for watching, those of you who are with us on YouTube. For CJ Moore, I'm Michael Beller. Have a great weekend. Happy betting. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.